Welcome to Story Time with Lena Simone. Today is Thursday, February 22nd, 2024, and it is now 8:06 p.m. Um, I want to talk a little bit about forgiveness today, or this evening. My mother called me and left me a voice message in regards to the fact that she's 71 and she's going to be 72 this year. And she talked about forgiveness and what Jesus expects of us. And called her back. She asked about my children, my grandchildren, and I had my baby boy on the phone when I called her back. She was happy to hear his voice. Um, After they chit-chatted, he hung up and we stood on the phone together, my mother and I. And she said that in order for her and I not to have any kind of friction or disagreements, um, or disagreements, um, for me not to speak to her about my personal life. She doesn't want to know about my mate. That's fine. Um, then she went on to tell me that I was her firstborn, that she loves me and I'm her baby doll. And she asked me to forgive her. She said for me to show her grace. She asked me to show her grace. She asked me for forgiveness. She proceeded to say that she loves me very much and that she's very sorry for the things that transpired with my upbringing and as I got older. Um, she then proceeded to tell me about when she was pregnant of me and she did something to, I guess, try to abort me. When that didn't work, she went to the hospital because she had harmed herself in trying to abort me. And then my grandmother, her mother, brought her a ponche, which is a punch, and it's to abort. Normally it's aspirin and Malta, Spanish malt. And she said, Mommy, I can't. I'm too far along. And I started to tear up because it hurts to know that I wasn't wanted even then. She asked me to forgive her, as she was very young. And that I'm sorry. I She's never asked me for forgiveness before. Forgive me for the pausing. I just um my maid asked me after we hung up, how did I feel? Um, did the little girl in me heal? And so on and so forth. And I said, my response to my mate was, I already took care of that little girl within me. I nurtured her, I held her, I loved her, and I told her that it was okay. None of it was her fault. She was a baby, she was a child, she was a teenager. Not her fault. And that little girl is healed. So, do I feel distraught or happiness or sadness? I honestly cannot say. I do feel a little numb. Um, well, I don't know what I'm feeling. I really don't. How do you, how are you supposed to feel? You know? I'm 55. I've told you guys that before, and it took me many years of therapy and reading self-help books and, you know, Erroneous Zones is a very good book, by the way. Um, Self-reflection, self-psychoanalyzing, self-growth. It's a journey that you go through, and of course, life happens and things happen and people come and go into your life and leave your life, and whether they be family, friends, lovers, co-workers, it doesn't matter. People come and they go, you know, and I've kind of learned to live with that. People leave. So if I'm not really feeling anything, I don't know if that's good or bad. But I did forgive. I forgave her long before she even asked. People think that I didn't forgive. People think that I hate her. It's not that. It's not that at all. I was always very leery and I didn't want to feel, and I guess I needed to heal the little girl within me. That's what I needed to do for me, for my sanity, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I needed to find me. And in order to do that, I needed to draw away from everyone, excuse me, and take care of me. And I did that. And it feels good. It feels really good. So, I wrote her a letter many years ago. And tomorrow, when I get on here again, either tomorrow, Friday, or Saturday, I'm going to read that letter. And I wrote this letter to her, I want to say 25 years ago, 26 years ago. And I kept it because she crumbled it up and threw it. But that's okay. Because I know, at least within myself, I forgave, you know? And that was for myself. A lot of people think when you forgive someone, their ego, their pride, gets in the way. There's not a reason to do that. You should forgive for your own sanity, for yourself, because you carry that baggage around, and you carry a dislike or a hatred for whoever it was, and it's not healthy. And how can one say, "Oh, I'm going through my journey of growth, self growth, you know, my journey to self." That's another book of mine, by the way. But how can one say that they're truly growing when they're still carrying all of this around? That's not growth. Not at all. Because you're left with the burden of feeling this anger and this hatred within you. Interesting. Yet we say we grow. Are we really? If we're holding on instead of going straight on, head on, facing that, and then moving forward. I guess that's it for tonight. I just wanted to share. Again, I forgave my mother years ago. I just never told her because she never asked. She never asked for forgiveness. So, that's what it is. That's what it's about today. Giving one grace, asking for forgiveness, and forgiving those that ask for it. It's for our own personal growth, for our sanity. Yeah. I love y'all, and I hope that you guys are sharing, liking, subscribing. Again, I will read you that letter. It's pretty deep. Until next time, thanks so much for joining Story Time with Lena Simone. Have a good night.